Sponsored by Tropical Acres Steakhouse.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the frim sauce with the awesome bay, with shafafa on the side.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another week of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, coming to you live today from the respective man caves of one Jeff Defo DeForest, Mike Lubie Lubitz. They're in other corners of the county. I'm right here in Dania Beach getting ready for a major house rehab, and I am totally ready for it. And then the next disaster after that, and hopefully more checks and insurance money to come. How you guys doing today? Gentlemen, Defo, what's happening?
It's amazing you've been able to find a way to make a living without having to go to work anymore, just by being in a flood zone. Pretty incredible. Why do you even bother to work at this point, Mike Mayo? You should just retire and wait for the next rainstorm.
You never know what is going to be coming up next. Plus, I enjoy this whole lunchbox broadcast, whatever you call this, streaming thing. It's so much fun to just go around eating my way through life. And yeah, we got a couple of days respite here, and then we'll be back on the road again this week. Wednesday, Foxy Brown, and that's in conjunction with the Dine Out Lauderdale festivities. Thursday, we're going to Seaside Subs up in Deerfield. That's a treat. We've been there before with Andrew and Dawn. Great couple that run that sub shop. And
I'm a little nervous about that one.
Why?
Why? I mean, because I think you're going to try and eat like half of one of their absolutely gigantic sub sandwiches in one bite.
Maybe I'll bring...
I think last time they cut it in quarters. They underestimated you.
Well, this time maybe I'll bring the nurses that were there at Wicked Cheesesteaks last week, and
I hope you took some
follow
numbers.
me along,
yes.
and you know, bring Dr. Heimlich too in case there's anything.
No, it's true. I mean, Sheldon Glass pointed this out, I believe, that they should have an ambulance follow you to all of the locations like they do in the track.
Yeah,
just take care of the jockeys.
That was needed. That was a harsh weekend for racing fans. Fortunately, I did not see any of that. I was at the movies Saturday afternoon seeing Oppenheimer, which was on my list, and I highly recommend it for those who are interested in both science, history, and just fascinating movie making, because it was great stuff and really good script. I guess it would go above a lot of people's heads, maybe including Defo, but no, it was good. It's going to be an Oscar contender. Great acting. No food in it at all, though, really. There was no food scenes. Oppenheimer drank a lot, though. He's noted for his martinis, which included 4 ounces of gin. So, but they showed a couple of martinis being drunk in the movie, but not how it was made or the recipe. I saw that in the Washington Post. Anyway, I'm all over the map today. I'm a little bit I'm run down, and Defo is taking phone calls. So I'll go to you, Lubie. How was your dinner out with the lovely Shirley at Union Kitchen and Bar? What happened?
It was great. We had an 8 o'clock reservation Friday night, got there just after 8 o'clock. Roberto was bouncing around. I forgot the manager that it was his cousin's name. He was helping us out a lot. He was really good. And then we ordered we were looking at wines, and Shirley, my wife's the one I let select the wines. She's a connoisseur. And I was like, dang, I wish Roberto would come over here, because I'd love to see the two of you go back and forth and really iron out this wine choice. But he was busy. So she picked, actually on her own, the Syrah Grenache Rosé that we had the day before.
Which was available by the glass. Did you get a full bottle or just a couple of glasses?
It was like 30. A glass was like $12 a glass, and like a whole bottle was like 38.
Okay, so
2 glasses would be almost a bottle. So we might as well get the bottle. So we're getting a bottle, and then Roberto comes over with a different wine. And I was like, perfect. Because not only got his expertise, but he was able to, because I guess he saw that we got a rosé. So he brought us a rosé from the Spain Basque region, which she had never heard. I mean, and she knows her wine pretty well. She had never heard of Basque wine. Like, it was like a rosé, especially. So it was like, and he said it's the only wine they have in this area. So
did it come in like a wicker cesta basket, or like the old Chianti bottles? No, okay.
It was not Chianti. It was not High Life in any way. Which is, yes, we know that's where High Life originated. But no, he brought it out. It was a fantastic wine. And then we ordered, and I knew we would, because we can't eat, like you guys got what? An appetizer, a pasta, and a dinner, right? Like,
Yeah, one, and one. One app, one pasta, appetizer size, and one main course.
and we don't eat as much. So, and because she
That's
had
not that
tried,
much for 2 people, but all right.
for us, it's a lot.
And
So,
one dessert,
well, we probably didn't get that much.
and one
less food.
cocktail, and one bottle of wine.
Wine, exactly. Well, we didn't do that. We stuck to the one bottle of wine, but we went the app. We got 2 apps, got one pasta, and no, we got 3. We got 2. Because I forgot that they had small plates and they had like shareable. They had appetizers, then small plates, then pasta, then
I
dinner.
saw your pictures. I think you ate more than I did the other night, and that's a
We
feat.
varied it. We varied it more. I don't know if it was more or less food, but we got 2 apps. The great job by you with the crispy pork tacos, pork belly.
Yeah, the pork belly
Fantastic.
tacos.
Those are
yeah.
fantastic. We ordered I wasn't sure what they were going to do with us, so I ordered because the fried oysters looked amazing. So I wasn't going to hope that we got, like, I know he brought them out for you. We didn't know what was coming, so we ordered those. Those were fantastic. Then the octopus that Defo kept trying to thrust on you. My wife is a huge octopus fan, and that was, I guess, a small plate. So we got an octopus, and then we ordered an appetizer size of the pork ragu pasta. And then Christy came out and was like, I know you guys didn't want to order the other pastas, but I'd love for you guys to try there's the one we got, which was the one with the truffle cream in it, the campanelle or campanelli, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then there's another one that was very creative, which was actually pretty cool. It's like a ravioli, and it was a different word.
You had 3 pastas along with the.
We ordered one. They
oysters
were
and-
appetizer size. They
Right.
were like, they were like,
Yeah, but they brought you out. I mean, they brought them out to you, and I
They
assume
brought out
that
2
they
extra.
comp
That was-
those. Like usually, the way it works is, you order some stuff from the menu, and I'm not expecting anything, but if somebody brings out a dish, when they bring it out and say, "Oh, I wanted you to try this," it's usually on the house. Now, Defo is disappointed in us because he thinks we should have just tried to schnorr our way through the whole meal and not
No,
pay
no,
anything.
I know you didn't pay, Mayo.
I have the receipts.
You're trying to soft sell this. I mean, it's kind of like you didn't try to fix the election either. But I know you didn't pay.
No, you're projecting now, just because that's the way you operate. I mean,
I don't operate that way, but I know what you've become through this
man.
show.
So I'm gonna have to go on first.
You used
break.
to have the paper, pick up the tab, so it didn't matter
Right.
what you ordered or what the bill was, because it was
Yeah.
on your expense report. Now that you're on your own, so to speak, I think you're doing more schnorring than you're admitting to.
And let me clarify one thing. When I was on the company dime, when I was the critic for the Sun Sentinel, we had a deal, which was the Sun Sentinel would pay for my meals, but not my liquor or wine tab. And let me tell you something. I took a big hit on that because I like my wine. And I think judging a wine list and wine service is an essential part of a comprehensive review. So a lot of times I ended up having to pay out of pocket, upwards between the cocktails and the wine. And, when I bring a group of 4 and, if I invited people to come along and eat, I wouldn't make them pay for it. So I'd be out like $200 sometimes on my own. And, after a while that adds up. But wait, do you hear that's the world's smallest violin playing?
Exactly. You can find
in
a way around
sympathy
that.
for
Yeah,
people.
a really poor position to take here on the show as you're trying to justify your current stature, which everybody knows you're in there for a comp. Come on.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna have to go get the receipt right now. If this, I will
We
not
brought up
stand
the
for
pastas.
this.
We did not ask for it. I didn't expect to get anything comped. We were really happy with everything that was brought out. The service is amazing. Like and I wish I remember the gentleman's name, but there was 2 or 3 people that kept helping us, and they were doing it with everyone. It wasn't just us, because clearly we knew Roberto and Christy. Everyone was getting
And the manager, you know what? I spaced on his name now too.
Forget his
Was
name.
it Cooper or something like? Or I'm just making
Forget
that
it.
up
It's so
now.
bad.
I forgot. But anyway, no, I'm glad that you enjoyed yourself. I don't know if Defo would appreciate. I mean, he would appreciate.
I think
it.
they both would enjoy it whenever they come out there, they'll have a good time.
He just seems to like to go to whatever is talking about comps at that local parimutuel where he's like, he gets the comp and then he comes on just ranting and
I
about
was speaking
the
truth.
garbage that he was served, which that is some chutzpah. If you look up chutzpah in the book, it's taking the comp.
I qualified all that by saying that this would, be sort of out of line since I ate for free. But the truth was, it had been a topic on Let's Eat South Florida, which I try to follow the thread. I don't want to just talk about my own individual,
Yes.
experiences and trying to get free meals. But, I mean, it was there. Somebody had mentioned that they thought the place had gone downhill. I normally would say, hey, wait a minute. That's just, some
He's
person
talking about
complaining.
Myron's Deli
Yeah,
at the Harrah's
that was Myron's
Casino.
Deli. But it had. I mean, unless that was one of the worst nights they've ever had in the existence of the restaurant, the overall quality had really suffered in the last several months.
And I appreciate your accurate reporting. Even when
I
you gave
didn't
him
call a
freebie.
manager over like you wouldn't do either. But I mean, I just thought the truth is that person was right. Well,
That really is the definition of an integrity right there. When you get the comp, you take the freebie, and you still shred them to smithereens.
Exactly.
That's
He was a man of.
It is what it is. If I had paid, I would have been just as disappointed. But
paid. I would hate to see what you would have posted on Let's See.
I would see, but I'm not the type to go out and blast the people. I just I was in concurrence, and it actually had been a position that I wouldn't have taken normally because I had been more than satisfied with my freebie food there in the past.
So-
but it had noticeably gone downhill. There's no question about it.
I hate to interrupt, but Sarni broke in with a good question, which was, could I write off all those unreimbursed business-related meal expenses, such as the wine and the alcohol, on my taxes? And the answer was yes. When I first started in the position, I could, even without my own separate LLC, even if it was part of a full-time job. However, remember that big
Yeah,
tax?
Trump changed it, didn't it? Didn't Trump change
Yes,
it?
under the Trump tax bill, which basically gave all kinds of breaks to millionaires and billionaires, little guys like me, they changed the rules so that if you were a full-time employee and didn't have any kind of your own business or side business or independent contractor work, I could no longer write off those unreimbursed expenses. So I took a big hit. I think it went into effect for like 2018.
2016 or 17. It was
It was like it was enacted at the end of 16. And I think it took effect in 17. Yeah. So then all of a sudden, all those unreimbursed booze and wine expenses, I couldn't do it as a write-off anymore. And then shortly thereafter that, I decided to take a buyout and leave the whole thing. So now I have an LLC, and every meal I consume is a write-off.
There you go. So not only are you not paying, but you're writing it off on your taxes. I like that. That's double dipping, Mayo.
Right off, cops.
That's drinking the au jus when you get those pork sandwiches at Wicked Cheesesteaks. Double
Icing on
dipping.
top, it's the
What
cherry.
would this have cost? Oh, for real? Okay.
That is the
Actually, the trip to Union Kitchen and Bar brought up an interesting question, which is, would you drive out of your way if there was a particular dish at a restaurant that you thought was so outstanding it was worth the schlep?
Yep.
And I thought that mushroom dish that we had probably was worth the schlep. Yeah.
The campanile with the porcinis, spinach, and a little truffle cream sauce was an excellent.
It was good.
dish. Yeah.
Good enough to make you think, hey, I'll come back here and I'll try
Well,
this,
that other
even though I
pasta
could go somewhere else closer.
that we hadn't tried, and I want to remember the name. It was like a ravioli, and again, I don't know what word she used, with a chili popcorn. So there was actually pieces of popcorn in it. And it seemed like an interesting, different dish. It was tremendous. It was really good. And the crunch that Mayo was always looking for, it added the crunch, and it was totally different. It wasn't breadcrumbs. It was a very creative.
It's something different. Yeah.
May will be happy if they threw Cracker Jack on it, as long as it was crunching.
Now
They wouldn't care. Popcorn,
you
Cracker
know me
Jack,
and my
peanuts.
health conditions is such that the one food item that I don't eat is popcorn and corn on the cob because of my diverticulitis.
Yeah.
So I do avoid that.
Where does Cracker Jack fit?
That would be
Is
in
that
the popcorn category. I can eat one or two of them occasionally, but I don't try to push the envelope on that. But bring on those subs Thursday at Seaside Subs, and I'll be down in half that chicken vodka parm
with vodka sauce, right?
Yeah, the chicken vodka parm is one of their specialties, and then the Big Dave, which is named after Dawn's father, who does some of the baking there. But that's that hot roast beef, like melted cheese on top with an au jus. Like that's an incredible heavy sandwich, but it's great. And I love the bread they use there. You know why? Because it's a little bit heftier and crunchier. I know Defo likes the softer rolls, and they have both kinds there. I think they give an option. We love the job they do.
I don't dislike the crunchy stuff. I'm just not obsessed with it like you are.
You're with you.
Where I mean, you did one of your usual intellectual put downs on the Laspada subs.
I didn't do that. I like the Laspada.
But people love Laspada subs, and the part of the
when
reason
did I say
is
Laspadas tonight? Did I?
It all blends
I
together.
never said
You
show,
used to
you were
constantly be
weird.
degrading them compared to VNS. Get out of here.
Well, it's a different kind of bread.
Be accountable.
And I
for
see
what
that
you've
Gail
said
is on
show.
the line, and I have mad respect for Gail and all the what the job they do at Laspadas.
Gail would tell me constantly to just wrap you in the side of the head and get you to wake up to what they do.
Look, everybody has their preferred style. Food is subjective, and I say that all the time on the group, and it's like my personal preference.
But you don't subscribe to the theory. You say that, and then you go, yeah, but you're a moron.
I never said you're a moron. I just said you have pedestrian taste and old set of teeth because you're at the age now where you can't bite down. It could cause some dental problems. I don't know if you have.
That is not my problem. I don't like to wrench my mouth while eating a sandwich.
I love to wrench my mouth. In fact, I love.
I find Laspada's subs are absolutely perfect.
By the way, I do have
anybody else.
I have an injury from last week. I strained my neck, I think, on putting that whole piece of the Mike Mayo sandwich on there. It's fraught with peril, these expeditions. And I still have a little bit of a strain, and I'm trying to take it easy this week. So I
remember Mayo being very excited when they brought out a platter of subs at Las Patas. So I think we worked.
I want to say that's when he started slobbering down like whole subs in one bite.
Yes,
that was the culmination of last year's sandwich month, and it was the big finish. We ended up at the original Las Patas at Lauderdale by the Sea. They brought out this platter, and
giant tray.
I started to really appreciate the softer, squishier rolls because it really was easy to put down those megabytes, and it really kind of was the start of my whole disgusting display of trying to be
that's where it all began,
bite Mayo,
right there.
where instead of Portnoy just supposedly having one bite of pizza, and he ends up having the whole freaking slice. I try to see how much I could cram in my mouth in one bite. I watched back the meatball display, and I got to say that was one of the highlights of the past week.
That was particularly disgusting. There's no doubt about it. But I'm glad you're approaching this with a little bit more of an open mind after 2 years, because in the beginning you were just adamant about VNS. That's the only place to go. They got the crunchy bread. People constantly were saying, "Hey, does this guy eat anything but crunchy bread?" They're saying it goes like this, Mike Mayo. If you were going to get religious about it, cast ye bread upon the water, and ye shall get back soggy bread.
And some people look. I love a good soft.
The bread isn't soggy though at Las Patas. It's just not to your particular taste.
Well, it depends what you put on, because when you put the toppings like the oil and vinegar, and it sits there for a while, it does get a little soggy. But there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I love the oil and vinegar, but you got to eat it quick. You got to eat it like me. You got to shove the whole thing in your mouth before all those dressings and things get to sit and kind of.
So there is a practical, purpose to the way that you eat, which is good. If you're at a sub shop.
Green-eyed girl is chiming in, and she says, "Las Patas is not legendary to me. I've never heard of it. Where have you been, Judy?" It's
50 years in business.
She's up in Del Rey, and they don't have them, I don't think, in Del Rey. But do they have one in Boca?
They do have one in Boca, yes.
Yeah. And they have it in Coral Springs, I think. They have one in downtown Fort Lauderdale. They have one out on University Drive in Davie, which is the one I used to frequent. And yes, I went there, Defo, when I was covering the Dolphins when they trained out there at Nova Southeastern. We would run out there for subs once a week. So I enjoyed them very much.
And what would you find there? You'd find Stu Weinstein picking up a bunch of subs for the coaches.
And what was Shula's choice? I bet he was a tuna salad guy, just like you. Because
see, there you go, condemning somebody for liking tuna salad. I mean, the same thing. If you don't like it, you're
not saying
you're scarfing down any number of things that people would consider vile.
Those cold cuts, that Italian sub, those mixed meats.
They're all good. That's the thing.
No, tuna's not so good in my book. I mean, if I want to.
Well, that's you. I mean, a lot of people love it. I think that's among the best sub sandwiches you can get. The tuna sub done right.
Know, I've learned this.
Spadas has a particular. In fact, it's so good. There was a demand for people to buy their tuna, just by itself, by the tub. So you may not like it. you care for other things, which we don't really want to bring up because probably discuss too much.
Yeah, probably. So it is sandwich month, and we are going to hopefully. Can we get out to Gail's place again? Because
I
we're
was
going
going
to
to
hopefully.
see if Gail's watching.
I don't know why she would invite you
We
back.
appreciated our
I didn't trash the place. I liked it. I ate half the. Half the
Well, when you were there, yeah.
From what I remember,
you
Mayo
were
became
okay.
a convert before, let alone that was stamped on our adventure out there.
Yes.
And if we're going to start at Seaside, which I think last year we went with Nikki Mohan to Seaside, I'd love to finish
Maybe.
at. I'd love they do the don't they do the Chicago style beef sandwich? What's the place that did the
No,
beef?
that was the Broad Shoulders sandwiches on
Broad
Commercial
Shoulders,
Boulevard.
yeah.
Very nice couple. That was Tom and Cheryl. And they have a good selection of sandwiches there. I haven't been in there in a while, but I hear they're doing well. I see some reviews on Let's Eat from time to time. The other place we got to get to is Talia's Tuscan Table, where they have great subs also. Some of
Hopefully
those
at the end of the month.
Italian cold cuts. And we want to get in with Dusty May,
Yes.
the Cinderella story engineer at Florida Atlantic University with their Final Four basketball team, and hopefully we'll be able to sit down and I'll be able to repulse him as I did with the new football coach.
Well, Herman almost signed you for the team. He was looking to see if you had any eligibility after what were you, a freshman player at Tufts?
Poking me, I could definitely maybe, offensive line. I would still get pancaked and flattened. I can't do it.
You could be like a Don Nottingham type of running back, you know.
Oh, one of
guys
those big fullbacks, a Rigos. I could be a Riggins. I got
just like a human bowling ball type.
that too. I am a human bowling ball. I will knock down things all over the place. So we're gonna get in there. We're gonna be eating lots of sandwiches, even though I'm not putting any kind of number up. I'm not trying to beat last year's 51. I'm not like a Joey Chestnut. I'm just happy every day to encounter really good food at various places because that's what it's all about here on the Lunchbox. And not only that, we're also about giving away Sunday brunches to Gulfstream. Gentlemen, we got 23 names in the hat this week.
Wow.
Because not only did another favorite win in the contest race at Gulfstream on Saturday, but two horses that were viable candidates scratched before the race. So all the people who chose the scratched horses, and that would be New York Traffic, who was my pick, I thought was the class of the field, and then Mish, who was the hunch play for your friend Craig Mish, both of those horses scratched. So then a whole heap of other people then got the favorite, that's what it's stated in the rules, that you get the post-time favorite, and the post-time favorite, big and classy, for our friend Tony Segreto, who was out there last week, and also the Studiali family on a Tropical.
How obvious was that horse was going to win after seeing Segreto at the track on Friday?
Totally obvious. And
I mean, that was a sign from the gods again.
I'm glad, it was so obvious. The entire, I think half the field, half the entrants are in the hat this week.
All right.
46 entries and 23 are in the hat. What do you say?
Are you rooting for anybody?
I'm done with that. I mean, there's a bunch of names here, people who have been in the hat many times. There's some names in here, first timers. There's some people in here who have won before. But we're going to do this now. We're going to pick, going in, looking away. What do I know? Here comes one. Here's one out of the hat. Let's see who it is. It's going to be, this is a guy who's been in the hat many times. I want to say I don't root for anybody because I'm the impartial guy, but George Kosenko, GK.
Nice.
Oh, very
George
nice.
Kosenko has been playing since day one. And
wow.
We're already at week number 35. We started this back in December.
Wow.
And he's been in the hat, I'm going to guess, at least 15 times. So George K.
Finally got the draw.
Finally got the draw. And, if at first you don't succeed, try again. So congrats, George. You and a guest will be able to indulge in the luxurious 10 Palms Buffet Sunday brunch at Gulfstream Park. Just pick a Sunday between now and the end of September, or if you need a little more time, we'll figure it out. But I know we had one contest winner go this past Sunday. Another one will be going up this upcoming Sunday. And we're going to get Joe B back in the house, I think, this Friday show after his second vacation this summer, the new executive hospitality director at Gulfstream. Joe B does a great job, and his whole staff there, they do a great job. We always appreciate it. So congrats, George K. You are going to be having a good old time and maybe making a couple of wagers too. Let's talk about, before we get into, it was a tragic weekend at the track. I can't avoid that, right? And You were watching it, right? And you had a kind of
You know what? I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
Go for Wand.
That was unprecedented.
I'm going to say
no, but at the wire,
Go for
like
Wand
where this horse broke down.
wasn't Go for Wand in a Breeders' Cup race trying to finish her career an undefeated.
Yeah, but that was not that close to the
was
wire.
about 100 yards out. It was.
This was one step from the finish.
So
people actually thought that maybe the horse had actually crossed the wire, and in deference to
not
good
that
taste,
it matters, because whether it's
trying
Go
to
for
debate-
Wand 100 yards out or this horse, what was it? Something Maple Leaf Mel, who was partly owned by Bill Parcells. It doesn't matter how close you are to the wire. If you have a fatal breakdown and you see that right in front of the whole grandstand, and on national TV this week too, and with Go for Wand also was a Breeders' Cup. It's just it's nauseating, and these animals are treated well, but they're fragile, and these things unfortunately happen. And when it does, people cry for the abolition of the sport and all this other stuff. All I know is just I'm glad I wasn't watching live. It would have sickened me, and I'm not talking about any betting tickets or anything like that. I do have a friend that was put up and ended up benefiting from because the number one horse ended up winning. And the rule is, Defo, right? You know the rule. If the horse had crossed the wire with a jockey on the back and then suffered a fatal breakdown, that's still considered the winner. But you have to cross the finish line with a jockey on your back in order for it to be official. Not that any of it matters in the grander scheme of things. But I don't know. You were watching live, right? Or you were at the track? Or
I was there.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, so it's just. It's unfortunate. There was plenty of other great racing, including yesterday. Our friend Andy hit a nice score. He got put up. He was split exactly. He finished first and third, but then the blinking light that saved him, that second horse, was disqualified, and he ended up having exactas worth $1,300 on a race. So congrats to Andy. Definitely deserves it. One of us. And so it was a fun weekend for me too. I ended up hitting a consolation pick four times. Pick five, actually. Saratoga, they had a bizarre incident yesterday. I think they took all the races off the turf because there was also some incident in an earlier turf race, and they said the condition of the turf course was no good. Nobody in our audience really cares about this, but anyway, it's it's summertime racing season. It's also soccer season. 2 words for you, Defo: Messi and Megan. Tale of two strikers, right? What are your thoughts on what unfolded with your favorite sport, soccer?
I mean, not much. I think the games are all fixed, so Messi scores. Lubie and I are searching for the inter-office memo that's probably circulating around the MLS saying that lay off this guy. We need him to score 2 goals every game. And people are picking on Megan Rapinoe, but, stuff happens in sports. So the fact that it was unfortunate that her final shot missed the goal. There were 2 others that also missed in the penalty kick phase. And unfortunately, people had overassessed the fact that this team had won in the past and was on a marvelous winning streak. It was a different bunch of young ladies playing and, some of the veterans, and they weren't very good, unfortunately. So they lost.
I mean, it was still one of those, your favorites, a 0-0 tie that went to shootout. And
0-0 to penalty kicks. I mean, the classic shows you how dumb and, overall the stupidity of this game.
The world sport. But did you see that goal, again, the tying goal that Messi on a free kick again last night, the way he arced it in? Did you see that, Lubie?
I saw the replay. I didn't watch it live. I went to bed. The game didn't start till like 9:30 on a freaking Sunday. So I watched the first half. Man, Miami actually wasn't playing well at all, but Messi almost single-handedly brought him back, and they won on PKs. Again, Defoe's favorite thing, deciding games on PKs.
Yeah. I think divorces should be decided by penalty kicks. They should line up a judge in the goal, and because no goalie makes a save anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
It shouldn't be the judge, because you never know what they who might be getting to them. You want to have the other spouse is in the net while the spouse is kicking, and then it's like that's a real
whoever stops the most.
Whoever stops the most.
Gets most of the.
The problem is when it comes to me, they would probably be aiming right for my nuts. So,
but that would be the proper strategy if you were defending against it. Is just stand where you are instead of diving one way or the other while the guy still hasn't kicked the ball.
Oh man! So I've totally lost track of everything now. But Messi. So I mean, okay, he's scoring all these goals, but like the analogy that I saw that I think is most rapt is like, this is like if Tom Brady went to the Arena League. Is this anything to get excited about, the way he's beating up on inferior competition?
That's the magic question in life. Are you better off being a dominant force in a mediocre lot, or should you strive for excellence all the time and go best against the
I always
best?
go for the easiest path because, again,
Path of least
yes.
resistance, and that's what Messi has found.
So
He's found an amateur league to employ his superior professional skills, and even though he might be a little bit of a fading light, he still dominates
he won the
to an
Golden
extreme.
Boot, right? He was the most valuable player in the most recent World Cup, and led his.
Oh, but that was a fix. I mean, come on. I go Trump on
No,
that.
the first game,
That whole World Cup was
when
rigged.
they lost to Saudi Arabia, that was the fix. But when Argentina came back to actually win it all, that was for real.
It was fixed. I mean, this guy took. I bet if he took one, he took 20 penalty
Maybe like
kicks
8
in the World Cup.
load of penalty kicks. Like it's not.
Who gets fouled that many times? Not even Dennis Rodman administered that many fouls. Get out of here.
Jordan got his share of good calls and free throw trips.
Of course. And that's what was happening there. I mean, it was a final tribute to Messi. They knew he was a burnt-out cat, and then he was going to end up in a minor league pretty soon.
Hey, let's do some business. It's a Tropical Acres Monday, and I don't know about you, but I am ready to get back there and have a little bit of their great seasonal fare, the twin lobster specials from Maine. That is ongoing all summer long, and I keep seeing people post those pictures on Let's Eat. Keep them coming. We're over 115,000 crazies on that group, and it seems like half of them have already been to Tropical Acres and weighed in, and I saw a couple of those twin lobster beauties. You can get them yourself every weeknight, Monday through Friday, for $39. That includes a salad and a side dish. And if you're not into the sea creatures, how about a little bit of their beautiful prime rib, which Defo is now a major convert. I think you were.
I always liked it. I mean, there was never a time where I said, "Hey, geez, I would never order prime rib." I just was not in the habit of doing it. Although I am a prime rib fan, and as I said, I mean, it beat the prime rib. The last one I had, I think, was at Leonard's of Greatness, and it was better than that. Which, I mean, they were charging premium.
Your bar mitzvah or your
premium prices?
Cousin's bar mitzvah?
No, my bar mitzvah I had in my house. My dad actually catered the whole thing, which was great. But I didn't have that many friends, so it was good.
So the prime rib, though, I mean, again, you talk about value. You could get that medium. I guess they have the different size cuts, and that medium cut is more than enough to fill me up when you have it with maybe a happy hour drink in the bar and a little light bite appetizer in the bar for half price. That's from $4.
Always order the large. That's my philosophy.
I get the medium now because me, I'm a man of modest appetite.
Because you're trying to cut back.
There was a whole discussion about these Brazilian churrascarias, and I don't want to just be showered with meat. I mean, I get the meat sweats, but there I get my little, not little. You get a hefty medium-sized cut that's more than enough, and I think it's.
What was the size that we had?
That was the
served there.
That was. They probably brought us that.
3 of us chowed down on that.
That was the king cut. King cut, I think, is that I don't know the ounces, and the other part that's makes Tropical Acres great.
If that wasn't the king cut, then I'd hate to see
you can add on to your order. They will give you a even heftier cut by the ounce. They price things by the ounce. So say that you want a 20-ounce prime rib, they'll make it for you. I mean, they'll do what you want there because they're in the yes business. That's part of what makes the Studiali family so great. Their hospitality, along with their value and the great service there. Joe, along with Jack, of course, is the patriarch now of the family, along with his sons Joe and Jackson are helping to run the show. You're going to have a great time there. 2500 Griffin Road, just west of I-95 and Fort Lauderdale Airport. They also have a butcher shop if you want to run in there and pick up some of those great fillets to throw on the grill at home. That's open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. The restaurant itself opens at 4:30 for the early bird, and of course they are closed on Sundays, but you'll get in there now the next few nights. Enjoy the half-price wine bottles Monday and Tuesday. Such a great deal, such great people. Go to Tropical Acres and tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
It's always a winner. I mean, that's the beauty of it. It's always a winner. It doesn't matter what your taste is in the restaurant, decor or atmosphere, vibe. Always a good vibe in there, and you get treated like a champ. The service is impeccable, and the food's dynamite. It's off the chart. All right, we're coming back with more. Mike Mayo laments what? What are you complaining about here?
Nothing yet.
The fact that you didn't gamble on Saturday, was that?
I didn't play. I haven't played poker in like 5 days. I'm like breaking out in hives now. It's crazy.
I think you better get into one of those dog track tournaments pretty soon. All right, coming back with more in a moment.
Beach Cafe. It's a South Florida landmark, and it's one happy restaurant right on the water. Tables literally on the beach. A place where you could dip your toes in the sand, kick back, relax with island vibes, tropical drinks, and live music daily. You know it. It's at One Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea. And of course, it has Chef Chris Nealon and his famed Caribbean Floridian cuisine with a huge menu with something for everyone. Seafood, raw bar, conch fritters, burgers, sandwiches, salads, deli specials, and of course, that famous Bimini bread. They've got a great staff that'll take great care of you. There's something to celebrate every day, open 7 days until late, parking available on site, happy hour weekdays 4 to 7 p.m. Go check out more at arubabeachcafe.com. Better yet, go in there yourself at Aruba Beach Cafe. Good food, drinks, friends, and laughter are always the catch of the day. When people come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the blackened grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Mayo here for Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Since 1951, family owned for over 70 years, the home of freshness. I've been a customer for over 3 decades, and it's the place to go for poultry, steaks, meats, and of course, their unbelievable selection of fish and seafood. They've got it all. Key West pink shrimp, grouper, snapper, lobster, and of course, Florida stone crab claws of all sizes. Don't forget their famous fish dip and a full selection of prepared foods. It's located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just across from the Seminole Classic Casino. Owner Doug Carter and crew will take great care of you. Make sure to check out their weekly specials and daily catch online at DelawareChicken.com. Quality, value, freshness, that's the Delaware way. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. Do you like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style, a pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788, 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. Now we're back on the Lunchbox. It's Monday, and yes, I during the break went off to get my proof. There is my receipt from Union Kitchen and Bar for my half of the total. We went Dutch that night with me and my dining companion, which, of course, you will ridicule me for that, but we're a modern couple. And but
hey,
yeah,
if she's willing to pay, I guess.
Oh yeah,
it does seem a little schlock that you don't just immediately overrule her and say, "No, sweetheart, I'll get that.
Things are a little lean in the Mayo household.
Yeah.
Now we got all kinds of repairs going on soon, and we don't.
You're
have
holding
those-
it upside down, though. Is that to disguise the fact that you didn't actually pay? Yeah.
What?
That's not upside down. It's backwards, but you can see Union here. You know what? I screenshot my American Amex, whatever you call it, the receipt too, so that you would have that here up here. There you see, $83.
Wow.
Union Kitchen and Bar. It's a little
That's
bit.
all you
backwards.
paid for dinner? Unbelievable. $83. Nice.
Well, he has another one.
Oh,
my
times
half.
two.
That was my half, yeah, because I'm.
Oh,
I really
and
am.
you ordered for 4, yes. I mean, so that's good. I
So-
like the comments here. I've been reading through a few, and we love Joanne. I think she's probably got this show figured out more so than anybody else. And that is, she deemed your activity on the program unhealthy and gross.
Joanne is
Thank you, Joanne, for spelling out what everybody else has been trying to say to Mayo since we started this thing.
Joanne has, you know what? I appreciate her. She's a truth teller,
100%. I'm a big fan.
and you know what? I guess
A dedicated viewer of the program.
sometimes she doesn't appreciate us mentioning her name. So I'll just say that there's a very dedicated. Well, sometimes she drops off from time to time because she is sickened, and I don't blame her. I don't. Yeah, but we do like people when they do come back and support us because we're nice guys and we like supporting local restaurants. And you just played a block. It was National Oyster Day on Saturday, and I regret that I wasn't able to get up to see Tom T because he was doing all kinds of fun stuff with oysters that he gets from the Gulf coast of Texas. But on Friday night, I was able to get up, and I actually saw Brad for the first time in a while.
Yeah.
My
Nice.
friend at Even Keel. Brad sends his regards. He misses you. He's been schedule-wise, it's been a little offbeat because he hasn't been doing the early shift or opening the restaurant when we come in there. And his very capable new chef there is Matt has been doing a great job. I'm sorry, Matt. Nick has been doing a great job. Matt was the manager who just left, and they have a new kind of manager who's overseeing front of the house, and it's an all-star figure in the local scene, a guy who was the co-owner partner at the old Canyon restaurant before it was sold in its old location. Mario is now working front of the house at Even Keel Fish Shop.
Oh, nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah, Mario is a renowned local figure, and anybody who used to go into Canyon back in the early days when it opened in the mid-90s with Chef Chris Wilbur, and then Mario was up front, and of course dispensing the prickly pear margaritas. And now, of course, Canyon ended up being sold and moved with our friends Mike Linder and his partner Warren Thompson, and they're south of the tunnel. The original Canyon now gone, but Mario is still around. He was friendly with Norm Kent, the late Norm Kent, and I can't believe I'm saying the late Norm, but Norm was a big fan of the old Canyon and Mario. Anyway, good to see him there because it's an old pro who knows what he's doing. So going to Even Keel, and they had a great oyster spread. I had it a night early, but on Saturday they were selling them for $2 per oyster, and those are the premium products. I've seen oysters now at places going for $4 an oyster of the East Coast variety.
Wow.
I forgot where that was, but $48 a dozen, and some of them were going for like $4.50. So you're talking about like, over $50 a dozen. That's a little too rich for my blood. Give me those $2 oysters. I could still handle it. And also on Saturday night, I went to our friends at Southport Raw Bar, and I had a dozen of their oysters, and they've upgraded their oyster game during the summer months.
Did you take your gout medication?
I did not, but
I would have been gargling with indomethacin if I was doing that.
I was playing Russian roulette, but the key was I didn't drink the brown liquors this weekend. I just drank plenty of vodka, so that kind of keeps I think that counteracts the possible gout. If you drink beer or brown liquor and have a lot of seafood, then you're doomed.
All right.
But at Southport now, during the summer months when some people don't like to eat those Gulf oysters, even though they pasteurize them and they inspect them, I still prefer having those cold water North Atlantic oysters this time of year. And Buddy at Southport they now are serving the Blue Point oysters from the Long Island Sound in Connecticut and Long Island. And they were excellent. And they were priced at $28 a dozen, which in this day and age is pretty reasonable. I had a dozen oysters on Saturday night. Also had, what to me is the much better value. And we could talk about value is the the clams, they have these, the big cherry stone clams. Were you a clam guy or raw clam guy at all? Because I love those.
I got into like raw oysters and clams very late in life. I would say it wasn't until I was almost like 40 years old that I started eating this stuff. But I do like clams in a variety of fashion. Probably prefer them fried to
Steamed?
raw,
Okay.
but either way. And oysters, I would rather have them grilled than raw. But
Yeah,
I
figures.
do like them that way too.
That's the way you would be, is kind of cook them, especially when you got to be a little bit more concerned I'm not going to take another shot at your age. All right,
You can take all the shots you want. I mean, it only paints a portrait of exactly what your real character is. And that guy was right when he said, "We know where you're coming from, Mayo."
by the way, did I mention how just joyous I was that Cody's Wish lost on Saturday?
You root against people that are have had debilitating birth defects. and
No,
things
I
like
wasn't
that. Yeah.
rooting against the kid or the story. I was just sick of seeing the story. And all right, Cody's Wish went down as the
You were
even-
happy. You would have been happy if Rinaldi got mowed down by the horse in the stretch. Although he didn't make enough of a move to even knock anybody over, unfortunately. Or
But
she did.
here's what served me right. He went down at 3-5 favorite in the Whitney, which was the big feature race on Saturday at Saratoga. What are the horse I liked and I gave out on Friday's program?
Oh, you didn't
White-
bet that horse? White
White
Barrio.
Barbario went off over 10-1. I was busy at the movies, and I wasn't such a sick degenerate that I was going to start betting on my phone in the middle of the movie because I had somebody next to me that might not have appreciated that. So that was,
Oh no, that shouldn't matter. I was screaming that there should have been a disqualification when I was watching Seabiscuit. I got up out of my seat there and started yelling, "Well, wait a minute, that was a foul!" And people didn't really appreciate that. But
Gary
I got
Stevens.
carried away. I thought it was actually at the track. It was that realistic of a foul.
The jockey Gary Stevens had a big part in that movie.
Yes,
right?
he
Yeah.
did. He did well, actually.
Yeah.
Although he's morphing into Joe Garagiola. Have you seen him on Fox TV?
I don't.
Gary
yeah,
Stevens.
I've
Oh,
seen
you don't
him-
get Fox TV.
when they have their big shows. Actually, I've seen him work on the FS1 for whatever reason.
It's only recently that this is happening, though. I mean, he's put on a couple of pounds, so his face got a little bit. He's not fat or anything, but he's not jockey weight anymore, and he's starting to look like Joe Garagiola.
Yeah, that's it. But
I thought I saw him say, "Buy a car, get a check," right there on the set when he was doing the Whitney coverage.
He'll be hawking those Medicare Advantage programs soon enough. But
Yeah.
no, I was kicking myself when I got out of the theater and I looked at the race and I was like, oh God, a White Burial won and it paid
You were right.
$23 and
Yeah.
I had not a dime.
Nothing,
on it, but
zero.
That's okay. Kind of all over the map today. We got to talk about our friends at Dine Out Lauderdale. That's another thing that is,
even Keel. I mean,
yeah, even Keel is taking part in it. Union Kitchen and Bar is taking part of it, and our Wednesday destination, Foxy Brown. I'm looking forward to getting in there for the first time with the Lunchbox crew. Although I just got an odd text from the reservations platform. Apparently, they put us in the system for a table for 3, which is the first time we've ever gotten a text from a reservations. I hope they know that we're not just going in there to eat, the 3 of us. There's going to be equipment, and we need more things. I will explain it.
On the thing, or you talk to a person, right?
I talked to Sasha. I talked to the PR marketing person for Be Nice Restaurant Group.
How lazy are you getting, Mayo?
They know that we're coming in. They know that we want to talk to the chef. They know that we're going to be displaying some of the food and offerings for the Dine Out Lauderdale. It's just weird that they have us in the system to block off a table. Although we'll get in there early and make sure we have the proper set out. That's going to be Wednesday. And I'd love to see everybody come out this Wednesday show at Foxy Brown. That's downtown Fort Lauderdale, just off Federal Highway and 5th Street. They moved to the former location of a place that used to be known as 5th and Fed, and now Foxy Brown moved there. And Foxy Brown does a great job with lunch and dinner stuff, kind of upscale, casual, great bar, great cocktails. And a great place to go check out the Dine Out Lauderdale offerings, which you can do at over 100 restaurants around Broward County, going on from now till the end of the month, August 31st. Check it out at dineoutlauderdale.com or visit lauderdale.com/dineout. And it's not just the upscale restaurants for dinner with the multi-course meals, but also more casual places. Sunday brunches are on there. You have cafes that are on there. You have ice cream parlors like Jackson's offering their It's kitchen sink for one for the first time. A single person can go in and order a kitchen sink for one, and it's just $18.95. You just request it. That's all part of the Dine Out Lauderdale festivities, ongoing all month long, and we're happy to be a part of it here at the Lunchbox. When you go into the restaurants that's participating, just ask for the Dine Out menu and tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Again, dineoutlauderdale.com. Visit lauderdale.com/dineout.
All right, coming back to wrap up today's edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox in just a moment.
It's Mayo for Gilbert's 17th Street Grill. You know me, I love family-run places with quality food at fair prices served with passion and pride. And that's why I love Gilbert's. For more than a decade, Lenore, Beth, and Richie Gilbert have been serving up the best burgers, wings, ribs, salads, and desserts. It's a fast casual spot. Everything prepared fresh to order from an immaculate open kitchen. They're at 1821 Cordova Road in Fort Lauderdale in the Cordova Shops just south of 17th Street. Open every day but Sunday. One of my favorite burgers in South Florida. Big, round, juicy pucks of 100% Angus beef, char grilled to perfection. And don't miss the sweet potato fries on the side. They're legendary. Go to Gilbert's, feast, and be happy. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks, just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. If you're looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 in the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Want great Italian food in a beautiful beachfront setting? Have I got the place for you? Casa Calabria at the Ocean Manor Resort, 4040 Galt Ocean Drive in Fort Lauderdale. Highly rated across all the restaurant review platforms and totally Mike Mayo's Lunchbox approved. Delicious, authentic Southern Italian food in a cozy dining room overlooking the Atlantic. Live music in the lounge, full bar, and a great wine list. Owner Frank Talrico takes great pride in his family recipes from his native Calabria. Fresh fish and seafood, veal, house-made pastas, and marinara sauces smooth as silk. You gotta try the imported meats and cheeses on the antipasta platters, and don't miss that ricotta gnocchi. Fluffy little pillows straight from heaven. Casa Calabria, open for dinner Tuesday through Sunday, closed on Mondays. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. This August, Visit Lauderdale invites everyone under the sun to indulge in the annual Dine Out Lauderdale promotion. This year's options will be more diverse than ever, with fine dining restaurants, casual eateries, and even your favorite cafes and ice cream parlors part of the mix. From August 1st through 31st, scores of restaurants will be offering multi-course meals at discounted prices starting at just $45 per person. Diners can also enjoy sweets and treats, brunches, happy hour specials, and exclusive culinary experiences. This year's lineup includes 3030 Ocean, Foxy Brown, and Lasso Gaucho in Fort Lauderdale, Even Keel Fish Shack and Aruba Beach Cafe in Lauderdale by the Sea, Cafe Max in Pompano, The Cook and the Cork in Coral Springs, Union Kitchen and Bar in Wilton Manors, and more. Restaurants are being added by the day. For the full Dine Out Lauderdale lineup and all the details, go to dineoutlauderdale.com. We're back on the lunchbox. Almost time to wrap up the Monday edition. But first, I forgot the point of my story about the clams. About clams are good value. I got 6 of them for $8.50. Did I mention that? I'm a little bit dazed and confused today. So I think clams are the more value-oriented play now because oyster prices are
no, you left that out.
far up there. And clams, I think, are just as good. Briny and refreshing when you eat them raw. Put a little bit of that horseradish and cocktail sauce. That's good stuff. And I chug it down with a nice cold beer. And you'd be proud of me, Defo. On the other night when I was having my clams, I didn't have one of those fancy frou-frou beers. I had an American made. I do like it with a good cold Budweiser because it's just the perfect.
There's nothing wrong with that, Mike Mayo. There's nothing wrong. Simplicity is also, I mean, as they say, it's bliss sometimes.
But if you see me drinking a Coors Light or a Bud Light, just stick a fork in me and throw me.
I never liked Bud Light. I was not a Bud Light fan. I have nothing to do with this whole trans controversy. I never found that to be a very appealing light beer.
No, it's the most. It's a foul tasting beer. I hear they have a secret ingredient in it, and the rumor was that it's formaldehyde.
Well, there you go. Maybe that's why I'm aging so rapidly here.
It's supposed to preserve
so
you
drink 2 Bud White Lights and you're embalmed. I mean, that's great.
Oh man, what else we got on the agenda? I wanted to ask you about.
I'll give you one. I'll give you a quick one here. All right, as we wrap things up, just at what point, if you're waiting for an entree after ordering, how much time transpires before you start to get A, a little bit antsy, and then B, like thinking, hey, why don't we just get up and leave? How long does it take? I was in a place, it took an hour to be served my entree from the time I ordered.
That's bad.
And it wasn't that busy. It wasn't really that busy.
I was going to say, were they slammed?
And did you have appetizers?
I didn't talk to the manager after. I actually just left there, left a very generous
Not
tip.
naming him by name, that's fine.
Yeah,
but let me. Now it's time for the interrogation. Did you have appetizers?
We had an appetizer came out quickly. That was the weird thing, and we ordered everything at the same time.
Oh, you did. It wasn't like you had the appetizer and said, "Oh, we'll order later after we have the appetizer."
We were told that we had a reservation at 8, even though it was only 7:15. And, but that we were welcome to sit at the bar if we didn't want to wait for a table. But there were many empty tables in the restaurant at the time, which was kind of an odd thing.
Let me piece this together. So you had the appetizers and ordered them at the bar?
We were sitting at the bar. We were going to eat there because we didn't feel like waiting 45 minutes for a table.
Right.
So, we were getting ready to, wrap things up that day. And anyway, but it took an hour for the main course to come out.
But you didn't answer my question. Where did you consume and order the appetizers?
At the bar where we were going to eat. We were in one spot, Mayo. Follow along.
And then you did not move to the dining room for the main
No, there
meal.
was no, we were told, hey, the table wouldn't be ready for 45 minutes.
Sat down, they bring the apps right away, and then there was a large gap. That's not good. It's not a good run. It's okay. There's 2 things that really kind of frost me. Because timing is a big part of a meal. You want to have a nice flowing meal.
But where's the breaking point for you, Mayo?
Well, here's 2 things I hate. Number 1, you're eating your appetizers, and then they come swooping in with the main course before you're even done, where they go boom, boom. And it's like,
I would prefer that to what happened.
Right. I guess all things considered, you'd rather have a plethora of food.
I mean, it was one appetizer. It was an escargot, so that was going to be consumed in a few minutes anyway.
All right. But the bottom line is neither one should happen. They shouldn't be bombarding you with food when you're still in the middle of your appetizer. They should have a kitchen flow so that it's coursed out properly. And the proper staggering is you deliver the appetizers, give the table 15 minutes to eat the appetizers, and then the main course should come out no more than 5 minutes after the appetizers are actually cleared from your table. So I would say a 20-minute stagger from the point when your appetizer is delivered until the mains hit the table. Because if you can't finish the appetizers in 15 minutes, then you're just talking too much and you're going to be there too long anyway. But then if there's anything more than a half-hour gap between, and you're at the bar, but the other thing I hate is when they just leave plates hanging in front of you, and that's one of the things
the guy at the bar was on top of it. Just, I don't know what happened. We thought maybe he forgot to put in the order, but he said that wasn't the case. And, some people came over and expressed their concern, but the
kitchen is backed up or they just suck. If it wasn't
kitchen, I can't imagine it was backed up. There weren't that many people there. That was the truth. It was just odd. They didn't want to sit you at a table right away. Maybe they were understaffed from a server standpoint, but I know that was weird. But an hour was a little too long. I would
That's
have
way
to
too
say.
long.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and then Brian is chiming in. What's the breaking point as far as when you first get seated, when a server comes and says, "What can I get you to drink?" Because that's normally the
Yeah.
procedure. First of all, like Jack Studiali was telling us, remember they have, what was it, a 45-second rule? Where
Yeah.
once you get
Somebody has to
seated,
say something. Sure.
not necessarily coming to take a drink order, but just to acknowledge you and just look at you and say, "I'll be your server. I'll be right back." Just something to acknowledge your presence and that you're their responsibility. That should be within 1 minute. And then the drink, I would say, should be within reasonably like 5 minutes. It should be no more than 5 minutes for them to come and take your initial drink order. And if you're ready to put an appetizer, maybe you put in a couple of apps along with the drink. And then you, when they bring the drinks, you give the rest of the order. Every place is different. Some of them do want the entire order all at once. And I understand that. For also the kitchens, for planning purposes, they have a ticket up and they know, okay, this is what they got to fire for their apps. And then this is what should be coming for the mains. Well-run kitchens have that all down pat, and places that are not will leave you hanging for an hour at the bar, which again, frustrating.
No,
Well, I know we gotta wrap.
way too long. Yeah.
I know we got to wrap. So you don't have to rhapsodize about this. We can talk about this another day. But
Yeah.
what if they go past the 10 minutes? Because my wife is a very classy lady, elegant lady. And anyone who's met me knows I'm not those things. And I'm not patient. And I've learned, yes, we've eaten in Europe, so I'm okay taking time. But I know down here, that's not how things work, right? So if it's been 15 minutes and no one's asked what we want to drink,
I'm out the door.
Okay,
I mean, it depends how hangry I am, but that's
okay. So then that's your answer. Because I was going to say, I would get up and go find someone, and my wife would be embarrassed out of her mind.
Oh,
when
no.
I do that. Like, you would just leave.
No. I would do one of two things, and I wouldn't even know if I'd wait 15 minutes. Usually 10 minutes is my breaking point. Is I would get up and go and right to the manager or hostess and say, "Excuse me, we've been seated here, and apparently we've been we've painted ourselves with the invisible paint. Nobody has come to the table. What do we have to do to get a drink?" Or if I get really annoyed and like there's no manager around, or they're really crowded.
That's you not really annoyed?
Right. If I'm really annoyed, I just
throw somebody out the glass window off the second floor like you were Charles
I
Barkley.
walk out the door and just go full blast on Let's Eat Something. No, I mean, I would walk out the door. I mean, we have breaking points. I've walked out of restaurants and bars before when I don't get acknowledged. Now, it's one thing if it's super crowded and they're scrambling around. I understand. I'm willing to work with them. But if there's not really that many people, and it's just like that things are not going to get better from there. It's usually an indication, an omen. So anyway, hey, we got one more thing to talk about. That's Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. And boy, did I have another great family meal. I haven't posted the photos yet, but yesterday I walked into Delaware, and on a Sunday I was surprised because who do I see there? Not just Gene, but Gene and Jose, both of our managers and friends who take great care of us when we make our monthly visit, which is going to come up August 24th this month. We are, is it August 24th? August 20th? You know what? I'm so mixed up today on the dates. It's Thursday, the 24th. Yes. Anyway, we'll be there as usual at 4191 North State Road 7 for Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market in Hollywood, right across from the old Seminole Classic Casino. And I walked in there yesterday and I got some beautiful fresh shell on Gulf shrimp. It was reasonably priced, under $15 a pound. And Michelle made a great seafood boil that she put together. And I was in the mood for one of those steaks. So I got one of those great steaks that we displayed and showcased on the show a couple of months ago. I believe it's the premium Angus beef. And it was, I got a gorgeous ribeye that was grilled up perfectly, came out nice and medium rare. Delicious surf and turf meal last night. And you get all the great stuff there at Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Go check it out for yourself. They're open every day, and go online to delawarechicken.com to check out their weekly specials and daily offerings. All right. When you go in there, tell them that the lunchbox sent you too. Okay, that's it, right? We're done for today.
We're done.
That was it. It was a sprint. I'm sweating. Okay. Defo, we'll do it again tomorrow. I'm in a weird mood today. I didn't get much sleep. It's just, a little bit of a bender last night. These things happen. And I will stop talking now and throw it to the music and say, remember to enjoy every sandwich.